There's an old principle in business that says organizations rarely collapse all at once. They erode. Little by little, decision by decision, excuse by excuse. And by the time most companies finally realize something's broken, the damage has already spread through every layer of the foundation. My name is Narcissa Marcano, and as of this moment, I officially serve as the head of talent operations for the Against the Grain Wrestling Network. Now, before we address the larger conversations surrounding this company, there are several upcoming events that deserve immediate attention. ROV Hammerstein Homecoming takes place May 16th, and quite frankly, that event carries more pressure than people realize. Hammerstein never rewarded hesitation. That venue exposes weakness immediately, emotionally, creatively, competitively. You either prove you belong there, or the audience decides for you that you don't. After that, ROV heads internationally for Styles Clash in Tokyo. Then shortly afterwards, ROV Unshaken takes place in Chicago. Those shows are not just dates circled on a calendar. They are evaluation points. Every single one of those events will influence future investment, talent positioning, internal restructuring, audience confidence, and long-term planning moving into the next phase of this organization. And after all of those events, comes Salvation Lies Within 2. And to be completely transparent, that event has been through absolute hell behind the scenes. Creative disagreements turned into internal fractures. Last-minute revisions became daily routine. Entire production layouts changed overnight. There were points where departments within the company weren't even operating with the same information anymore. Different people working off different plans, different expectations, different priorities. That's not operational structure. That's organizational decay. But the interesting thing about decay is that it eventually forces honesty. And the honest reality is that Carpe Diem stopped functioning like an organization a long time ago. There was a period where Carpe Diem represented ambition. It represented risk, edge, aggression, a willingness to change industry standards that other companies were too safe or too comfortable to even question. And for a while, that identity worked incredibly well. It built loyalty, it built attention, it built moments people will remember for years. But somewhere along the line, discipline stopped mattering. Professionalism stopped mattering. Preparation stopped mattering. And eventually, the company started romanticizing its own dysfunction. Debauchery behind closed doors became part of the culture. Instability became normal. People started wearing chaos like it was a badge of honor. And when a company starts celebrating dysfunction instead of correcting it, the damage spreads fast. Meetings became ego contests. Communication collapsed. Everybody wanted authority, but nobody wanted responsibility. And from a business standpoint, once morale, leadership, production consistency, audience trust, and internal communication all began deteriorating at the same time, you no longer have random problems. You have systemic failure. But despite every bit of that, I still see value here. I see talented people. I see unrealized potential. I see an infrastructure that can still become something meaningful if the right decisions are finally made. But what this company needs is not cosmetic repair. because cosmetic repair is temporary. You can repaint the damaged walls all you want, but eventually the foundation underneath starts cracking through the surface again. And that is exactly why the decision was made to retire the Carpe Diem identity. However, before that transition officially happens, there will be one final standalone Carpe Diem branded event. Live from London, England, CDN Shift of the Landscape. A final chapter for a company that spent years trying to decide what it wanted to be. A final goodbye to an era built on volatility, ambition, passion, ego, brilliance, conflict, and absolute unpredictability. And after that, we move forward as against the grain. A company built on structure, built on accountability, built on preparation, built on leadership. And personally, I'm excited for what comes next. Because for the first time in a very long time, this organization finally has an opportunity to become disciplined, to become polished, to become organized, to become dependable, and to become the kind of company people can believe in without wondering whether it's going to collapse under its own weight 6 months later. And one more thing. Change makes people uncomfortable, especially in this industry. People get attached to names, attached to errors, attached to dysfunction they learned how to survive inside of. But survival ain't growth. And Against the Grain is not interested in surviving anymore. We're interested in evolving. And anybody unwilling to evolve with us is eventually going to get left behind. Believe it when you see it, huh? Honestly, that's probably the most intelligent response anybody could have to everything they just heard. Because eventually, people stop listening to announcements. They stop reacting to branding. They stop caring about polished speeches and dramatic promises. They start watching behavior. They start watching patterns. And the pattern around here for a long time has been a company trying to sprint forward while dragging its own bad habits behind it like chains. Every success got buried underneath 3 avoidable mistakes. Every big moment got followed by confusion. Every step forward somehow found a way to trip over somebody's ego backstage. And after enough years of that, dysfunction stops feeling temporary. It becomes architecture. People start decorating around the damage instead of fixing it. They adapt to instability. They normalize disorganization. They convince themselves chaos is just a part of the process because admitting otherwise would force people to take responsibility. And responsibility is expensive. See, success and failure inside a company aren't accidents. They're habits. Failure comes from tolerated weakness, from ignored problems, from people protecting comfort instead of standards. Success comes from discipline, from preparation, from people being willing to hold themselves accountable even when it's uncomfortable. And that's the part nobody ever talks about. Everybody wants the rewards of success. very few people actually want to live inside the structure required to create it. So when people say, yeah, all right, we'll believe it when we see it. Good. You should. Because skepticism creates pressure. And pressure reveals people. It reveals who's actually capable of evolving and who was only surviving because the environment around them allowed mediocrity to hide. And moving forward, every single person attached to this company is gonna have to make a decision. Talent, management, production, leadership, everybody. They're gonna decide which side of the scale they belong on. The side that contributes to growth, or the side that keeps dragging the company backward into the same cycle that almost buried it in the first place. Because against the grain is not gonna function like Carpe Diem did. No more romanticizing instability, no more treating dysfunction like personality, no more confusing emotional chaos with creative freedom. This company is either gonna become disciplined, or it's gonna expose everybody who is incapable of functioning inside discipline. And honestly, that's exactly what needs to happen. Because eventually every company reaches a point where excuses stop mattering. Eventually the results are all people remember. And from this point forward, everybody involved gets to decide whether they're gonna be remembered as part of the rebuild or part of the reason the rebuilding became necessary to begin with.
I'm off the chain, time to go against the grain. I'm off the chain, never gonna be the same.